What's up? What's up? We are here for Vanderpump Rules, Season 11, Episode 1. This is the first time I've reviewed the show. It's not the first time I've watched it, though. I've watched this show since the beginning, low key. I just decided I wanted to add this to the roster of shows. I'm trying to expand my channel, expand my audience, and that's why I'm here. So, season premiere was tonight, just happened. I'm going to go ahead and get on into it. And if you're new here, which if you do end up jumping on this video, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all might be new. But if you are new here, you're not subscribed, please go ahead and thumbs up the video first. Drop your comments on what you thought was going on, because I feel like this season's going to be a good one. Last season was crazy. This one I think could be just as good. We'll see if Raquel shows up. But yeah, drop your comments on your thoughts. Thumbs up your video, thumbs up the video, and subscribe. Do that if you are new. But yeah, let's go. All right, so we get back. Everybody's getting introduced, or at least reintroduced. We got Tom and Ariana. They still share a house together, which is quite interesting to me. And then we got Sheena and Brock with their daughter. We got James and Allie. They bought a new house together. At least, I don't know if they bought it or rented it. But they got a new house in Burbank. It's a nice little house. And they live by the airport. So they're hearing all these planes every single day, all throughout the day. Schwartz has his own apartment. We know Schwartz and Katie are no longer together. Katie ends up coming over to visit Ariana at the house. Sandoval is not there because he is filming a show, which, what was it? I think it was Scared Straight. That show that's on, I don't know if it's Scared Straight. It's one of them shows that's on, I think, Fox, where they have like a bunch of different reality stars that come together to do all these crazy, like military type things. I've never watched the show before, so I don't know, but I kind of have an idea of what it is. But she's over there, and Katie's mentioning how every time she comes there, there's flowers. And Ariana's sitting there blushing and stuff because she has a boyfriend. She got a new boyfriend. And they start talking about how they're making headway with their sandwich shop. Like they're making moves towards getting to the point where they're about to start opening. They're starting to get all the materials, all the equipment and stuff that they need to have to run the business. But Katie mentions how quiet it is. And that's when Ariana starts to say, like, Sandoval's in Switzerland. I think she said Switzerland. Either there or New Zealand, one of the two. I can't remember which one. But he was filming the show, as we all know. And she talks about how they have a no contact policy since they live in the same house still, which I think is crazy. But they have a no contact policy. They communicate through his assistant. And pretty much they're basically living in the same house, but don't speak to each other. Apparently they don't see each other either. So that's interesting as well. But she also thinks it's wild because Ariana says that he's trying to buy her out of the place that they share together, aka he's trying to pay her to move out of the house that they have together. And she's like, no. She's like, I'm the one that would have to move at that point. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how would I feel in that situation? And it's like, yeah, we bought this house together. I like this house just as much as you do. And essentially, when it comes to, in my opinion, I feel like the way that it should go in terms of who should leave is whoever was wrong. And we know whoever was wrong in the situation was Sandoval, so he should be the one to leave. But Ariana feels the same way. And according to her, Schwartz and Raquel are still together. That's according to her, which I don't doubt it, because it definitely seems like it's extremely possible. But we get James and Allie. They're pretty much talking about how they want to have a pool party, pretty much breaking in their house. And James is talking about how his feelings are hurt about him and Sandoval. Like, they were really good friends. I guess, if I remember correctly, I think they were really good friends. But he's more so hurt about the fact that pretty much he got caught in the crossfires because Raquel was his ex. And Sandoval was fooling around with her, as we all know. But he starts talking shit about his whack-ass performances, which I fully agree. I can't stand when he gets on this show and starts performing, acting like he's some rock artist. Sandoval is, without a doubt, one of my least favorite people on the show. He's corny. He cries too much. He thinks, I don't know what it is, but he thinks he thinks he's some superstar. I don't know why, but he does. And it's just quite irritating to watch. But we get Sheena and Brock. They're in their house. They're pretty much talking about how she's sitting on the couch, and that's the last time that she actually had a conversation with Sandoval in her house. So every time she sits on that couch, she thinks about that conversation. But they start talking about how Sandoval hasn't talked to Brock since he had reached out to him whenever Sandoval's close friend had passed away. So Sheena also talks about how she reached out to him and he didn't say anything to her. She then reached out again pretty much sending her condolences and stuff. She realized that he blocked her because it didn't even deliver the second time. Then she went on social media, looking at social media just to see if she could still see his stuff. Blocked, blocked, blocked. She went on her daughter's Instagram account, blocked. And she's like, you blocked the child out of all people. And it's just like, at this point, I don't like the dude, but he got to protect his peace too, low key. So even though he brought it upon himself, but he got to protect his peace too. But Brock then asked about Raquel, and Sheena's stating that she's in some type of facility, which I'm assuming maybe she checked herself into a mental institute. I don't know. They didn't really divulge too much about it, but I guess we'll see maybe later on. But then we get another scene with Lala. Lala is with her mom in her place. Lala's mother had moved from Utah to LA to help her with raising her daughter, Ocean. And her brother apparently had moved as well because he felt like he was left alone, which we know Lala's father he passed on a couple seasons ago. And I don't know if she has any other siblings. So I guess it makes sense. Like maybe he would want to move because maybe they're the only ones that they have in Utah. But she's talking about how she's hoping that her custody battle with Randall ends up wrapping up soon. She mentions how Randall doesn't want their daughter on Vanderpump Rules. And she's like, she don't care about having her on the show. She just cares about the main things like taking care of her, taking care of her, helping her get all the things that she needs to succeed in life as a soon-to-be growing adult. As a parent, you're supposed to want the best for your child. So that's where she's coming from. But she gets emotional. She's talking about not only that, but she's also battling with the fact that she's still dealing with the fact that they're no longer together. Like she hasn't really coped with the fact that they had that breakup and the reason for their breakup. So she's emotional about it. She says she cries all the time, and it's not just about the custody. It's just about her going through her emotions. And she feels like she has to cry and get them out because if she doesn't, she's going to start lashing out on the people around her, which is true, which I'm glad she is doing what she's doing and taking the time to do that. But she also talks about how when she sees Ariana with her new dude, she kind of has PTSD. She's thinking about everything that happened with her and Randall when it comes to everybody else around her getting in these new relationships, pretty much questioning if these people are actually genuine with the person that they're in a relationship with. So she's trying not to let her past experiences trigger how she's feeling about certain people around her in their relationships, which could ultimately be a detriment to them if she opens her mouth. So we get a commercial. We get back, James and Schwartz. They're meeting up at this wood and water restaurant, and they're excited to see each other. Schwartz got him a plant and some candles. He's talking about how like it's the first time he's worn the Schwartz and Sandy's hat that he has since everything had happened, with everything coming out about the affair. And he also talks about how after the affair went public, people from the restaurant were quitting. They were losing business. And he's pretty much saying like he low-key resents Sandoval for all of that because like Schwartz essentially, which he low-key put himself in that situation. Like you was basically the middleman. I wouldn't even say the middleman, but you basically had the idea and the information about what was going on. And to a certain extent, because he said at the reunion last season that he knew a little bit about it, but he claims he didn't know too much about it. But I don't believe that. I believe he knew everything that was going on when it was going on. But essentially, he's not the one that's involved in the mess with Tom and Raquel. He's not the two parties that caused all of this mess. So essentially, he got caught in the crossfire. So that's what happens when you align yourself with somebody like that. But he starts talking about how all the shit that he put him through and stuff, like he's having to deal with all that. And everybody else is not fooling with him because of it. And he said, after all that shit that you don't put me through, you better end up with Raquel for the rest of your life. And it's like, honestly, I agree with him on that because like you done turned your whole life upside down. And if y'all don't even last 2 or 3 years, it's like you did all that for what? But Schwartz then feels like he's been isolated from the group, and the only person that hasn't really isolated him was James. And he's appreciative of that, and James is the only one that's pretty much treated him like a human being. But James talks about how he's not drinking anymore. He says that he made that decision on his own. He's working out daily. He smokes weed, but he's not drinking. So in his mind, that's his California way of being sober. So that's what's going on there. James is actually, he's grown to be one of my favorite characters. When he first got on the show, I couldn't stand him. But he's grown to become one of my favorite characters on the show. He's funny. He's needed for the show. But he asked Schwartz if Schwartz and Ariana had spoken, and he said no. Like, he feels like she sees him as an extension of Schwartz or of Sandoval. And They haven't talked. He feels like she just don't want to fool with him. And he's right. But James has a DJ set at Tom Tom, and he says that he's invited everybody, and Schwartz is coming, and he's kind of like apprehensive because he doesn't want Ariana to feel uncomfortable, but he wants to be there, and he wants to at least try and see if he can have a conversation with her. And James he pretty much coaches him on what he wants him to do, or at least try to figure out ways to get her to lighten up a little bit. We'll see if it happens. We know it didn't, but we'll see. We'll get to it. But Sheena and Ariana, they're at the spa. Sheena starts asking about the sandwich shop and stuff, and Ariana's talking about the progress that they're making. Sheena starts talking about how she's potty training her daughter. And they start talking about how Ariana met her boyfriend, Dan. And he's a personal trainer. He lives in New York, so they're doing a long-distance relationship. Sheena says something that I agree with. She feels like Ariana has not processed everything that happened with Tom. She quickly jumped into this relationship, like quickly jumped into it. I remember when it happened, or at least I remember when I saw it on Twitter. It was not long after everything had kind of blew up with her and Tom. So I'm like, did you really give yourself enough time? And hopefully the relationship lasts, because when you jump so quick into a new relationship and you haven't really processed everything, it never works out. But we'll see what happens there. But they finish the spot. They sit down. Sheena's talking about how she's on a 3-week alcohol and weed cleanse. Like, she's trying to be sober for 3 weeks. She talks about how she got diagnosed with OCD. And she then asks her about her and Schwartz. And Ariana's like, he's blocked everywhere. Like, I don't want nothing to do with him. They're not trying to have a relationship, or at least she's not trying to have a relationship with him. She's not interested in being friends with him. And I low-key can kind of see why. Like, low-key I can. But she said she watched him on Watch What Happens Live, which I don't understand that. Like, if I don't want to be cool with you, I'm not checking for you. I don't care what you got going on. But she said that she watched him on there saying that Sandoval needed a hug when everything was going out, which I don't feel like he deserved a hug. Like, you don't get coddled for doing crazy stuff to people, which he did. Like, you deserve what you get. And people you on a TV show, and that's the craziest part about it all. You're on a TV show doing this stuff, and then you expect people to not have things to say to you about how you treat somebody. Take Ariana being a fan favorite out of it. It's just like you cheated on somebody on national TV with their best friend, who literally sat in their face every day knowing that this shit was happening. So you can't get mad at somebody for that. But and you can't, and not only that, you can't coddle somebody who did it. They brought it upon themselves. Nobody told you to do that. But Sheena then asked about how she'd react if Sandoval and Schwartz were there at the Tom Tom event. She's talking about she'll go hide in the bathroom and go take a shit. But we get the next commercial, and James and Allie, they're at their house getting ready for the event. Everybody's getting ready for the event. Lala and Sheena talking about Ozempic. Ariana's at her and Tom's place talking about everything that's going on with her boyfriend, saying that she's nervous because she hadn't been there since that night. And she was contemplating going, but she feels like if she does that, she's kind of letting everything take over her life and take her from places that she could be going to and not go into them because she's got that cloud over her head. So she's trying to take control of her life. So they all arrive at Tom Tom. Lisa is there. Ken is there. And Lisa ends up greeting James and Allie. They're talking and stuff. She's basically asking when he's going to go on and do his DJ set. She says, go now. Like, he's like, okay, whatever you tell me, because you the boss. So she sends him off. Everybody else is arriving. Katie and Ariana, they're walking in together, and they're thinking about the difference in where they're at currently, because the last time they was walking in together, they was with these two dudes. They're not with them anymore. So it's quite interesting and it's different. But Schwartz shows up. All the girls are around, like Lala, Sheena, Allie, Lisa, Ariana, Katie. They're all sitting there, and he comes up and does exactly what James coached him to do, like ask for drinks, ask to get them drinks and stuff. He tries to talk to Ariana. She kind of shoos him off, like, very cold, like, I'm not trying to fool with you. Like, she acted like she didn't even see him. He noticed it, walks away because he realizes the girls are kind of in cahoots, essentially. Like, the way Ariana's feeling kind of sets the tone for everybody else. So he walks away, and what else happened? Ariana's talking about how all these emotions are starting to hit her with her being in Tom Tom for the first time since everything happened. They start showing these flashbacks or whatever, all that dumb shit. So then we get the third commercial. Schwartz comes back around again, tries it again with Ariana. And she still shuns him. Like, it's like, no. And then she's sitting there talking to one of the servers, and he's sitting there saying, like, what's going on with y'all? Y'all cool? And she's like, no, we're not friends. We're not going to be friends. So we'll just plainly put it that way. But Lala ends up pulling Lisa to the side, and this is where it gets interesting. Lala feels a type of way about how Raquel is feeling. Rachel, whichever one you want to call her, how she's feeling, she's thinking about how she said at the end of the season, the last episode, when she said, like, if she feels like if she goes against Tom, she will have nobody. So Lala is relating to that because she was once a mistress in a relationship, and she's literally feeling sympathy for her because she knows exactly what it feels like to be isolated and feel like you that home-wrecking whore that everybody hates. And she says she knows how it feels to be the other woman because the man tells you all this stuff like, we're going to be this, we're going to be that. And then it turns out to be completely different. And then you are the home-wrecking whore that you didn't think that you were. And Lisa's happy to see that she's actually showing empathy for for Raquel. And she's shocked that it's Lala out of all people, considering their history and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because it is interesting that she's the one who has compassion for her. Because it's like, if anything, she would have been the one that was so excited to kick her while she's down. But she's thinking about maybe if Lala is the one that's having these sympathetic vibes, maybe everybody else is going to come around. Wrong. But we get Katie and Sheena. They're pretty much talking about how their relationship is at this time. And Katie's saying that she hopes that going forward, like anytime they have any kind of conversation about certain things, that you don't go back and try to use it against her like she did last year. And Sheena's saying that she'll never do it again. She's talking about how she's shocked that they're in this place now, considering all of their history, how they haven't had a good history. Like, their friendship has been on like ebbs and flows, and Katie has not really been feeling Sheena. And they're in a good space because they realize they have a common enemy, and they have two common enemies now. But they're planning on having an intimate girls' night later on. So Lala goes outside and she calls Raquel. She didn't answer the phone. So she then leaves her voice memo on Instagram, and she's pretty much stating, like, I hope you're okay. Like, I don't know if you're in LA, but if you are, if you're not, come back. So Lala, she was looking at the voice memo too, because she sent it on Instagram, and you can see the read receipts. Sees that she read the message and did not respond. So we're gonna see what happens. So Ariana's in the restaurant. She's dancing. Everybody's hyping her up. Like, everybody there, the fans, the people that are actually there. So we get to the next day, and Schwartz is in his apartment. Katie ends up coming over. They're talking about the dogs and stuff. And Katie says, apart from the dogs, he has no access to me or my life ever again, especially considering how he treated me the last year. How he did all that shit with everybody else that was low-key. He low-key was trying to get a rise out of Katie the whole season. And it's true. But they sit down, and Schwartz is pretty much asking Katie if she had fun last night, and she says, yeah, that she did. He also ends up stating that he was trying to read the room, and he ended up reading the room and seeing that Ariana just don't fuck with him. And Katie's like, you need to text her. And he's like, how am I text her? She blocked me. And she's like, this is why I don't know what to tell you. But he's talking about how he misses their relationship and misses their friendship, talking about him and Ariana. And they start talking about how Sandoval be crying a lot, which is true. I can't stand that motherfucker, especially when he started crying. I can't stand it. But Katie, Lala, and Ariana, they meet up later on at the restaurant. And Lala is trying to play devil's advocate. She says, Schwartz, like, he does need to make decisions for himself. He does need to kind of like detach himself from Sandoval. But she's like, at this point, I understand that you have all these feelings towards him that are validated. But take into account all them years of mental abuse that he's taken from Sandoval, because you look at how he's treated everybody else. And Ariana talks about how she wanted to get closer to Katie a long time ago, but she was very hesitant because of how Sandoval was treating him, or at least speaking about Katie, that led her to believe, like, I don't need to pursue a friendship with her because all this shit that he's polluting my mind with. So it's kind of like lining up with what Lala's saying, like, if he could do that to you, who said he wasn't doing that to him? But Lala is, and you can tell Lala's coming from a place of, I don't know if she's coming from a place of just trying to produce a good show, because she knows we need more drama. And if you integrate them people back in, like how she's trying to get Raquel to come back in, and then she's trying to get Schwartz back in, it's going to give us a good show. A good show. In terms of somebody's mental sanity, probably not. But Lala is asking well, actually, Ariana, she ends up talking about how Sandoval and what's her face, Raquel, are still like sending each other packages and stuff. They're still in constant communication, which is kind of debunking what Lala is trying to do with Raquel, saying that she feels like she's alone. And Lala asked if it's still happening, about how she was hesitant with getting to know Katie, because Lala feels that Ariana has her guard up with her, and she starts to get emotional because she feels like she don't know if Ariana likes her or not. Like, she could tell Ariana's got this guard up. Ariana kind of is hard, especially when she first got introduced to the show back in, I think it was season 2. She just came out very hard, very like stoic. Like, you hit her, you wasn't gonna knock nothing down. And I can see where that comes from, because like she got her guards up, and she does. And Ariana was getting emotional. Well, not even gonna say, I don't want to say she was getting emotional, but she was being empathetic with Lala, because Lala was getting emotional. And she's pretty much reassuring her, like, no, I do like you. I like our friendship and stuff. And Lala said that she just doesn't know how to have a real friendship with her because of how hard she is. Like, she feels like she shuts her out a lot. So Ariana's sitting there hugging her, like I said, and just she's pretty much reassuring her. She's being attentive. She's listening to her, doing what a good friend should. Like, you letting this girl get off her chest what she feels she needs to say to you. And Ariana was taking it in, so good for her. But Lala feels that with that moment they just had, she needs to be honest. So she then brings up the fact that she actually reached out to Raquel and had a text that she sent her. And the look on Katie's face cracked me up, because Katie looked shook. And Sheena just looking like, oh shit, what's going on? So they do all that. And Lala is pretty much saying, like, she feels what she told Lisa. She feels like she relates to what Raquel is going through, because she was once the homewrecking whore too. And she doesn't want her to hold that title over her head for the longest time. And Ariana don't give a fuck. You can see all over her face she was not happy to hear that. She don't really care. Like, in Ariana's mind, she's like, this girl played in my face. And not only that, she cheated. Well, I ain't gonna say she cheated, because she wasn't in the relationship. She was the other woman that was fucking her old dude. So I see where Ariana's coming from. Like, if you play in my face like she played in her face, you gonna have some problems. I might do the most disrespectful thing to you, because I feel like that's the most disrespectful thing you can do, is sit in somebody's face knowing that you out here being grimy like that on both ends. Like, the best friend part, and then Tom Sandoval, like, you sitting here laying in this bed with this girl every night knowing that you fucking somebody else. And then Raquel, you in my face trying to be my best friend the whole time knowing that you fucking this dude. Like, that is the most wild shit. And I'm telling you, I spit on somebody is nasty, but I would probably spit on both of them. I'm not even lying to you. But like I said, she don't look pleased. She said if anybody interacted with Lala's ex, Randall, she'd be ready to kill somebody, which we all know is true. And they showed the flashbacks of Lala literally pretty much stating all of that. And Ariana's valid in that, but Ariana says that she wishes Raquel the best, but from a distance. Like, I don't wish ill will on her, but I hope she's doing good over there. Like, figure out what you got going on over there. And Lala is saying that what Raquel did was fucked up, but she knows the feeling. And Katie and Sheena were pretty much saying, like, we all were close to her, but she did fucked up shit to us too. And Sheena brings up the fact that she got the restraining order out on her. Because I believe Sheena beat the shit out of her. I do. Everything Raquel said, I do believe Sheena did. Sheena might deny it, but I believe Sheena hit her ass. But Ariana's basically shutting it down. She said there's no door for her to walk through. Like, it's just not going to happen here. And I can't be mad at her. I can't. But Lala says that she doesn't want to hurt Ariana. She's sitting there pretty much reassuring her, like, I'm doing this in a good place. I don't want you to feel like I'm doing this to spite you or being shady. Ariana sitting there reassuring her, but the music, they set up the music. The music is giving the foreshadow that we about to see some rocky shit happening between Lala and Ariana. And then the episode ends with Sandoval returning, because he ain't been on the whole episode, thank God. But here he comes, tiptoeing in the house. I'm on some hello, like trying to figure out if Ariana's in there. But yeah, that's the end. That's the season premiere. Not much went on, but I'm sure it's going to start to grow as the season does. But yeah, if y'all are new, if you are a new viewer of mine, thumbs up the video. Drop your comments on what you thought happened, what your thoughts are on this episode. what your thoughts are for the future of the season. And yeah, subscribe. I'm here. You're new to me. I'm not new to YouTube, but I'm new to the Bravo community. And if y'all like, bring the people over here. Share the video because I'm here. I'm going to be here this season. So yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Peace.